First things first, we want to start today by sending our thoughts and prayers to everyone in communities affected by nearly 100 tornadoes that touched down from Iowa to New Jersey over the weekend. A powerful tornado left parts of Little Rock in shambles. The severe weather led to more than 30 deaths, and more storms are forecast to hit this week. We always talk about checking on your neighbors, the elderly. We will continue to follow this story, but please know our thoughts and prayers are with you. All right, let's move on to what everybody is talking about, including our viewers. Former President Donald Trump on the move ahead of his arraignment. Here he is in the back of a limo, leaving his home at Mar-a-Lago. He's headed to New York for his court appearance tomorrow, where he will be arraigned. Now, according to reports, he is expected to face some 30 separate charges, all stemming from the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. Here's another interesting tidbit. Trump's lawyers believe the judge in the case will impose a gag order. That would prevent the former president from talking about any of this. And if he does, he could face fines or up to 30 days in jail. Now, Trump already has a speech planned for Tuesday night to address the nation. So what do you think? Will we be able to hear from him? Will he abide by that gag order? What would you say, Al?
I would say that it would be in his best interest not to. You know, I think there's two ways to go about
not abide by it.
To not abide by it.
Because he's raised $5 million.
Right. Well, it's that, and it's, you know, in a weird way, I kind of look at the OJ trial. You think about like what they had in court. What they had in court was DNA evidence, Erica. What do you say to that? Nothing. But you can battle outside of the courtroom. You can catchy things. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. You can go through the public to try and win in court. And Trump's entire strategy has to be by defaming the DA and by defaming Michael Cohen and by defaming the process in general and Stormy Daniels. He doesn't want to go to, like, why did Michael Cohen go to jail? Because he was convicted of doing something on his behalf. He doesn't want to go there. But if he can't defend himself, Erica, what's he going to do? Because now he can only talk in court, and you don't want that smoke.
I agree. I think that in terms of strategy, I would expect to hear from him without any need to censor himself. I know the gag orders, it's $1,000, which is nothing for him each time he violates it, but it's also 30 days in jail. And for people who are like, well, he doesn't want to end up in jail, I would think that he does. I mean, it's another way to martyr himself and say, look what these people are doing to me, reclaim the country. So for me, I'd never have any expectations at all.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to abide by that gag order, or is he going to go up tomorrow night and is he going to address everybody and pit himself as this victim?
I got to agree with Al and Erica here, but it's not a great idea to disrespect that judge right off the bat.
He already has.
He's dealing with 30 cases, right, against him. This isn't the only one.
Charges.
He's got charges, I'm sorry.
And this might be the smallest.
And to start this relationship off with the judge in that way by just totally disrespecting him and the courtroom and what it represents, especially being a former president, isn't a great look for Donald Trump, but he's going to do what he's going to do.
Jeff, I think you bring up a great point. I think when we talk about Trump almost the way we used to talk about Tiger Woods is like Tiger in the field, everybody, all the other golfers.
Yeah.
But that judge is a person. This DA is a person, and they're proud of their career, too. And if you start,
that's a big case for
when you start disrespecting people, they're like, okay, let me show you how we do it around here. And, I mean, Trump, his hands are not clean in a lot of situations, especially in New York City, so he needs to tread lightly.
We'll have to wait and see. But speaking of which, there are security services. They're all on high alert ahead of Trump's arraignment. Security barriers, if you can see right here, have already been put in place around the courthouse and Trump Tower, and about 35,000 New York police officers are on standby just in case demonstrations and protests get out of hand. But there is some good news. The FBI has not identified any specific threats, and there aren't any or very many signs or any signs that things could turn out like they did on January 6th. Do you think, Jeff, that we're going to see the unrest from January 6th tomorrow?
I don't. I really don't. And I think a big police presence is because there was none on January 6th. A lot of people were upset. You knew somebody was coming. Why weren't there more police officers on hand? I think this is preventative. I think people learned their lesson, at least the Trump followers. Will there be a couple crazies there? I'm sure. Will it get to the point of January 6th? I think absolutely not. But again, you never know.
I just want to know where people think the money for 35,000 police officers and barricades and all of these preventative measures are coming from. Because you're talking about one person Like, I don't care what the background of this person is. That's one person, and all of these taxpayer dollars are going into these resources. I'm pretty sure that New York City has other more pressing matters that they could be utilizing taxpayer dollars for. So if I'm a New Yorker right now, I'm very upset about that.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
But if they don't, on the other hand, and something
Right.
does happen, then, you know, what's the cost of that?
Right, and I think you guys might be both right about a point that will never happen, because I don't think people went down to that Capitol on January 6th being told that their country, that their fathers and grandfathers fought for, was being taken from them by an illegal procedure. And that's enough to galvanize people to, especially after telling them that for a couple of years, to literally break the windows and the doors down of the Capitol where our laws are made and conducted. Trying to get those same people as fired up about, you know, hey, hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels, not really the same kind of motivation.
But I disagree there, because he is tweeting on Truth Social that we need to take our nation back. He is saying things to galvanize people that, in my point of view, looks like dangerous rhetoric. However, the difference is, and you brought this up a few weeks ago, the people that went into the Capitol are now in jail,
right,
or they're facing jail time. So that fringe group, however you want to describe them, are now already isolated because they're facing charges.
Mm-hmm.
So those people are removed. So I don't know if you have a second group.
I mean, that's a great point. Yeah, their infrastructure of how they ran, you know, the Proud Boys people, those guys are in jail. So the people that coordinated those things, that infrastructure is not there. So I think you're right.
We'll have to wait and see.